fixes and machine-level changes like operating system upgrades are excluded. Software projects that have traditionally followed linear methodologies with a beginning and an end now follow continuous test cycles that don't stop until a product is replaced. The timing of experimentation works couldn't be more fortuitous. 400 years ago, in 1620, Francis Bacon published Novum Organum, the classical formulation of a new instrument for building and organizing knowledge, the scientific method. Thinking and acting scientifically has had an enormous impact on the world. For centuries, we've built and organized scientific and technological knowledge through testable explanations and predictions. These, in turn, have given us modern medicine, food, energy, transportation, communication, and so much more. The engine that has powered the scientific method is the humble experiment. I've spent over 25 years studying experimentation in business, and along the way, benefited tremendously from the work of many scholars and practitioners who are referenced throughout this book. I think that they would all agree with me. Experimentation works. But to fully benefit from the surprising power of business experiments, companies have to invest in an experimentation works. The systems, tools, organizing principles, values, and behaviors that enable today's managers to think and act scientifically, with high velocity, with precision, and at large scale. This book will show you how it's done. Introduction. The Business Experimentation Imperative. Eppur si muove. And yet it moves. Attributed to Galileo Galilei when he was forced to recant his claim that the Earth moves around the sun. This book is about how to continuously innovate through business experiments. Innovation is important because it drives profitable growth and creates shareholder value. But here's the dilemma. Despite being awash in information coming from every direction, today's managers operate in an uncertain world where they lack the right data to inform strategic and tactical decisions. Consequently, for better or worse, our actions tend to rely on experience, intuition, and beliefs. But this all too often doesn't work, and all too often we discover that ideas that are truly innovative go against our experience and assumptions, or the conventional wisdom. Whether it's improving customer experiences, trying out new business models, or developing new products and services, even the most experienced managers are often wrong, whether they like it or not. The book introduces you to many of those people and their situations, and how business experiments raised their innovation game dramatically. Consider the following example from Chapter 3. In 2012, a Microsoft employee working on Bing had an idea about changing the way the search engine displayed ad headlines. The change wouldn't require much effort, but it was one of hundreds of ideas proposed, and the program managers deemed it a low priority. So it languished for more than 6 months, until an engineer launched a simple online controlled experiment to assess its impact. Within hours, the new headline variation was producing abnormally high revenue, triggering a too good to be true alert. An analysis showed that the change had increased revenue by an astonishing 12%, which on an annual basis would come to more than $100 million in the United States alone, without hurting user experience metrics. It was the best revenue-generating idea in Bing's history. Yet, this story illustrates how difficult it can be to assess the potential of new ideas. At first blush, the original idea was dismissed as unimportant by managers. What made the difference? The ability of an employee to launch a rigorous experiment to assess the idea's impact. This book is also about how to deploy the power of such experiments in an organization. The capability to run many tests at high velocity, to ask more and better questions. By experimentation organization, I mean a company in which experimentation is embraced, in action and orientation, by every employee, from top to bottom. Experimentation is not simply the responsibility of a department, an R&D laboratory, or a group of specialists. Rather, all employees participate in one way or another.